Good evening, good evening, good evening, my beautiful people. So, today it's a special episode of Sermons with Sherman. We have a family here that I'm going to introduce you to soon. And we are looking into the death investigation of 21-year-old Brian Spencer in Dyersville, Iowa. That's right, Dyersville, Iowa. Um, I just want to note that for me personally, as a host of a show or a person that helps in the community, this family, I want y'all to take note. This family has done so much of their own work digging into the investigation of their loved one. I'm super impressed. I'm happy to know these people. They look just like me. And that is just a satisfying thing to know that um, our people, we don't just take nothing sitting down, okay? You can't just tell us anything and think we're going to believe anything, all right? So I'm going to drop this intro and I'll be right back. And I appreciate, the 37 of y'all that already done tuned in. Let's go.
Determination to change the nation, I'm manifesting the truth. Back in the booth to give you the messages that's been channeling right through me. No, I'm not Jesus, although my spirit is great. I'm eating my food without a plate, escaping this place through my meditations. New life begun when I reloaded the gun and realized where I was from was not too far from the sun. Like somewhere close by the moon. Now I'm connected like Zoom. On walks of life that ever lived, call me like out of the blue. So I just pass it to you, right through your speakers with clues. And if you choose to free your mind, then you will have all the tools. But I can't make you take it and shake it and mentally break yourself out. Cause freeing your mind without a doubt is something you have to try out. But once you see the light, your might, and all the power you've had, then you have reached the fifth dimension and you can brighten your path. But others who choose to follow the red pills, it's harder to swallow. Or you can wallow in your sorrows, feeling all empty and hollow. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you, to you.
Hey, hey, hey. All right, we about to get started. And the first person that I want to bring on to the show is going to be the mother of Brian Spencer Jr. Miss Lakeisha is waiting in the wing, and here she comes. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey,
How you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to tell you thank you for trusting me to be the one to speak with your family about this matter. I know it was your daughter that reached out to me, and we've been talking ever since. And I definitely appreciate you and your family for all the work y'all done and just being an advocate for Junior, because I don't see it a lot when people have these type of tragedies happen. They usually go into a shell and they don't talk to nobody. And so for you to be here with us today, I just want to thank you and appreciate you and love on you and let you know that we support you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the reason why I had you on first is because I want you to let us know um, what type of child Brian was when you gave birth to him. What type of child was he?
Well, if there was ever a perfect child, it would be Brian. I have 6 kids, and they all know what I mean because they agree with me. Brian had the most beautiful smile. He was loving, caring. He was intelligent. He was laid back. He never like told nobody no. He was always there for you. He was funny, silly. He was full of life. He didn't judge nobody. He was the one that you could come to him and tell him anything, and he'll give you advice on it. And if you feel like you didn't have a solution, he found you one. He always say, think outside the box. He was smart. He got his high school diploma during COVID when it was really hard for kids to stay interested in school. He ain't had no criminal background, no suicidal history, no mental history. He he loved his family, all his family, not just certain ones. He loved everybody. He saw the good in everybody. Then when he had his son, that brought him more meaning to his life. Oh my God, he was just so amazed. He was like, I'm just gonna show my son everything. I'm gonna teach him everything, you know. Um, like I said, he never told me no about nothing. He taught us how to love because like growing up, he always said, I love you. It's nothing I taught him because I didn't have that type of love in my heart. I ain't gonna say I didn't have I just didn't have that type of love growing up in my heart. But he brought that out me. He taught me how to love and how to forgive. He taught me so much. And for him to be 21, he was into stocks. He was just that man. Like he brought standards for me as far as even having men in my life. Um, I had talked to him the day before he passed. I mean, not the day before, but the day of he passed. He called me when I was at work. And he's like, I'm sorry I missed your call, Mom. I was sleeping and I was up with the baby and me and the baby was just sleeping. We just woke up. And I was like, all right, well, my break is almost up, Duke. Call him Dookie. My break is almost up. He's like, all right, Mom, I see when you get home. I love you. And he never hung up the phone with nobody without saying, I love you. Um, this is his little onesie that I bought him last Christmas. And he wore it all the time. He appreciated the small things. He wasn't one of those, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. He was content with his family and all us being together, just laughing, joking, being silly. You know, that's what he was about. He wasn't about material. He wasn't about the big world. It was the simple things like, Mom, you got Doritos. His favorite chips was Doritos and chocolate chip cookies. And Mom, he come in the house, Mom, you got some Doritos, got some chocolate chip cookies. And I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you finish. But last year, Thanksgiving, he had learned how to cook sweet potatoes. And he came over and it wasn't no more left. So he decided to cook some more. And he sliced them like potato chips. And it was so funny because he was like, he like 6'3", biggest ever, got the potato slicer, slicing the potatoes, and he seasoned them up real good. And he put the top on it. He slid the top to the side, like, boom. He said, oh yeah, you gotta let the steam cook these. And it was just so funny because he was a big old dude in the kitchen. I'm just like laughing at him, but he was like, Mom, next Thanksgiving, I'm gonna cook the sweet potatoes. You gonna make the dressing. My sister gonna make the macaroni. And I'm like, all right, cool. But this Thanksgiving came without him. So I just want justice for my son. He was not suicidal. He was smart. He was loving. He was my everything. He completed my 6. And that's all I want to say. We just miss him so much.
Yeah. Your daughter on here, she said, you got this, mama, breathe. Claude Katz said, what's up, family? Ms. Wall said, justice for Lil Brian, for Cuz Brian. So you definitely got support. And Dr. Gettings said, take your time, boo, tell his story. And somebody else said, I love you, Keisha. And everything is true. So, you know, people definitely, they feel your pain. We can only feel it from the outside because nobody knows how it is to lose a child unless you've lost a child. And we have to make sure that just today we're gonna honor him and just tell his story. Give me 1 second here. If there was something that you could share with the people that you thought was signature to Brian Spencer Jr., what would that be?
Just his phrase, "I got you."
Mm, yeah, his phrase, "I got you," huh?
That's it. He was always there for whoever needed him.
Yeah,
No matter the time of day, no matter 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he was there. "I got you."
yeah. Give me 1 second. I just need to. I think that you know, with such a young life, he was only 21. Uh, it's always tough, especially like you said, you want justice for him. In 21, you know, he should definitely be here talking with us, speaking with you, enjoying the holidays with your family. And the holidays is really tough when, you know, that time comes and you have to not spend the time with that loved one. So again, my heart is with you, sister. Um, Octavia said, "Love you. So sorry this happened to you." Tisa, she said, "Love you, cousin."
Love all y'all. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to bring on Brian Spencer Sr., the father. Okay. I'm gonna bring him on with you here. Give me just a moment. All right, there you go. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm just glad to be here with y'all. And like I said from the beginning, I've never seen a family do as much work that y'all have done. So my hats off to y'all. But not now because I need to shave my head. But but seriously, like y'all, I've never seen a family do as much work as y'all have done. And it's just amazing to me to see not only did you dig deep, you hired people to dig deep, and there's so much evidence. It's so much that we won't be able to cover it all today. Our hopes is that we can get a lawyer to reopen this case. And so today, in our 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to bring on other people in your family that's professional people
Yes.
that has gathered information for us to help show the reason why this case needs to be reopened. And there was a video you sent me that I'll play at the end, but I thought it was pretty hilarious. It was Junior doing "Your Mama So Fat" jokes. And I must have done watched this thing 3 or 4 times. I swear that boy was funny. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, ahead of his time. He could have did that on stage. It was so funny. So yeah, there's a lot of people tuning in. Brian, I want you to tell me from a father's perspective, a junior, that's your junior.
Yes.
What Brian's life meant to you, who he was to you. You can go ahead. The floor is yours, brother.
All right. I want to just, I'm coming at this from love,
Yes, sir.
particularly love. Family, I love y'all. We doing this out of love. Brian was hilarious, very, very funny, independent, intelligent. I remember when he was just a baby, he couldn't say he was hungry, but what he would do is he would go to the refrigerator and grab the milk and bring you the milk in his bottle. Like, like if you can't figure this out, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, in his whole life, he was like that. He was very, very, very intelligent, very independent. Everything from walking down the aisle to get baptized, it was all him. From the sports he chose, baseball, hockey, basketball, he chose it. Like, I didn't influence his opinions in any way. I was just there to guide him. But whatever he did on his own. He was very, very independent. I mean, he loved sports. He loved music. He was a very, very talented artist. He loved his hair. His hair, like, I mean, he would brush his hair 24/7. Like, I'm like, what are you doing now? Oh, they call this woofing. What's that? Oh, you let it grow out and then you grow, you brush it like this. And I'm like, yeah, I hope it lasts, Like, I used to have waves too, but when you get older, but he loved and then to see him interact with his child was like the most gratifying for me. Like, I remember him calling me, just thanking me for being a great dad, telling me how he wanted to live up to that standard. I mean, this kid didn't see everything. I mean, he was so like carefree, so laid back. I mean, um not a kid that would fly off the handle. Like, I mean, that's what makes it like unbelievable. He would never harm anyone or himself for that matter. And like when he had that child, it's like he gave me that call and like, Dad, you're such a great dad. If I can do it, how you did it, like just everything about this baby. Hey, he's gonna be the president, a football player, a basketball player, a lawyer, just like everything. And I want to say this. What makes it unbelievable is that if not just the interaction with his child, but if you see his baby in person, no way that you can have a mindset where you want to leave this place or harm yourself if you can pour that much love in 6 months. I mean, this baby, it's like the happiest baby you ever see. I mean, from his smile to the look in his eyes, it's like he poured unmeasurable amounts of love into this baby. Like, you just have to like be in his presence to know. Like, he only got 6 months with his father, but he sucked up everything. He embraced it. I mean, like the essence of Brian Jr. is MB3. Like, it's undeniable. Like, and it's just so far fetched to think that somebody that's thinking about committing suicide or leaving this earth would be able to put that much love into another human being. And that's where I'm coming from. Like, you just have to see the baby. Like, oh my God. It's unbelievable how much there's a light on in him.
Yeah.
You can't extinguish that light.
Yeah, we definitely know that because even from the comments everybody's putting in here, he definitely touched a lot of people. Kai says, share the love, everyone. Thank you. Much love to everybody. Highly favored, justice for Brian. She said facts to what you're saying about him. And like I said early on, when I first made the post about doing the show, all the stuff that y'all sent me, I felt like, Brian was like a little brother, and I never got to meet him. but just hearing all the great things about him and seeing him in action, it's like, man, it gave you so much hope for the future when you talk about these young brothers with these great minds. Somebody said
Yes.
little doo-doo. Yeah, yeah. And I really, again, like I told Lakeisha, I really appreciate y'all even being on the show and able to talk about it. And I know it's tough, especially with the way he left Earth, and his spirit, I would say, left his body. And we want to make sure that we do our best today to honor him and honor y'all in the best way possible. And we definitely have a bunch of stuff to get through here. And so is there anything that you or Lakeisha would like to say before I bring on this lead investigator, the queen of digging?
No, I just want to say I appreciate everybody for even taking the time to listen, join us. I mean, thank you all.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Everybody that knew him knew he was wonderful, and this is not his MO. So, yeah.
Yeah. John Tompkins said he was mentally strong.
He definitely was. He was.
Yes.
Nothing didn't bother him. He was.
Missy said everything he put his mind to, he was trying to master it.
Yeah. And one more thing, he had his real close friend. He said, every time Brian thought of something, he became the best at it. I could practice, and I could never get it. He said, but soon when Brian say, oh, I want to play basketball. Now he shoot like Jordan. Oh, I want to be a rapper. Now he rapping like Jay-Z. He say every time. He said, man, only Brian could do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Kai said y'all did great. Yeah. I think the last thing you're gonna hear from me, I'm gonna just put you down and bring up this investigator, this woman. I wouldn't do nothing against her or her family ever.
Never.
My God.
She don't play.
No, she don't play. And I appreciate y'all. Let me bring her up here real quick. I'll be right back with y'all, okay?
Okay.
But I do want to say to y'all, like I said, there's so much evidence that we won't be able to get through. And I don't want to taint the case by presenting too much to the people, because our hopes is that we get a lawyer to reopen this case. And with all the life and the things that you've seen already with Junior, the police are alleging that Junior took his own life. And so now we're going to bring in a couple of people that's going to go over these allegations. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves because they superstars. One is Natasha Gettings. Now, I posted one of her videos. She had a fro. She was in Cali. And that mug got me so pumped. I posted it on my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook. And me and my wife and daughter watched it. I said, man, this is a woman for the movement right here. So let me bring her up. Put some respect, first of all, on her name, Dr. Natasha Gettings. There she go. Hey.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yep. And
hey, everybody. Hey, family.
Hey. And I'm also bring up Brother Derek from Chicago, the Boxing King. Man, he had this video. I shared one of his videos too, because he talked about us being in this war that we didn't sign up for. We was born in it. And it really touched home because people call me dramatic or, radical, but I'm always in war mode. I stay in war mode. And I wasn't born into I didn't sign up for this war. I was born in it. And Brother Derek hit it on the nose when he said that. So I'm going to bring him on here too. Brother Derek Durr. There you go.
How y'all doing?
All right.
How y'all doing?
All right. So Dr. Gettings, I'll let you go ahead first and just explain or tell the people who you are, what you do. It's all you.
Okay. Well, I am, first of all, family. I am Brian's cousin. and I am a physician. And in medicine, obviously, you can specialize in different areas. So my specialty is psychiatry. I work with a lot of individuals that do struggle with different diagnoses that can place them at risk for suicide. And I've also worked in the forensic space quite a bit over the last 15 years, working as a physician and a brain health specialist. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I got my doctorate from the University of Chicago Pritzker School of Medicine, and I've been a physician now since 2007, so for 17 years. And my reason for participating and really talking to everyone tonight is just because when something's not right, it's not right. And it's my firm belief that there are a lot of things that aren't right. And like you said, we can't cover everything today, but I strongly believe that justice has not been served and that we all as humans have civil rights that should be upheld. And it's my concern that that's not what happened in the case of my cousin, Lil Brian. So.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Brother Derek.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
How y'all doing, family? My name is Derek Derr. Like he stated, I am a professional boxer, but I also am a crime prevention and intervention specialist. I work with ceasefire and cure violence for over like 10 years. And I'm also a NAMI certified suicide prevention first responder. So I have my credentials in suicide prevention, and I'm here to just shine some light on the situation, give my level of expertise in my field and what I know, and just me being a champion, a real champion, fight for those that cannot fight for themselves. So I'm just here fighting for my little cousin Brian to get some form of justice or get the truth out. So that's why I'm here.
We appreciate you, brother. So Dr. Gettings, let's bring you back in here real quick. And I'm gonna have both of y'all on the stage at the same time. So I want to go over a few pieces of the medical examination, if that's okay with you. Let me pull it up, and then you tell me where you want me to be at on this document. Give me just a moment here. Because what we want to do is point out just some discrepancies, right? And we also want to make sure that we don't do too much at the same time. Again, and like I said, there's so much. I've never seen a family collect this much evidence. There's so much evidence that I want to make sure that we leave room for the lawyer that we're hoping to have some room to look this over themselves. And I know that we can't win a case through public perception. It's done in a courtroom, right? And so let me pull this up. All right, and I'm gonna just be on page 1 with a pathological diagnosis, okay? Let's start right there. Here we go. There it is. Okay, let me just zoom it up so that way we can read it good. All right, Dr. Gettings, the pathological diagnosis. What does that mean for us that's not a doctor like you? Let me see. Hold on. You're muted. There we go.
So pathologic is a medical term that we use to describe essentially something that is of a diseased state. So it's this, anytime you end a word with ology, it means the study of something. So the study of path is the study of something that has caused a diseased state in someone, or in this situation has caused the death of someone. And so this is a report from a physician who specializes in a specialty of medicine known as pathology, When you go to medical school, you can pursue different specialties of medicine: cardiology, pulmonary, psychiatry, like myself, neurology, pathology. But what pathologists do is the same as what all doctors do. We diagnose. And so if you're a pathologist, your job is to diagnose cause of death. And if it is a forensic pathology evaluation, that means that it could be involving the legal system. That's what the term forensic means. And so with little Brian's passing, the way in which he reportedly passed, you by law in the state of Iowa have to have a forensic pathological exam. And that is ordered anytime someone passes away in a way that's described as a death of public interest, which means they passed in a way that was sudden, violent, potentially suspicious, potentially. And they specifically state that if someone passes from a reported suicide, that they have to have a forensic pathology exam. So what's listed there is what the doctor found when she did her exam.
When she did her exam. Okay. And so there is something that I do want to show before I go any further, if that's okay with y'all. And this is a video that was shared with me by Lakeisha. And this video is the day before Junior, the incident happened. Let's just say that, okay? And give me just a moment, and I'm gonna bring this up because I think it's important that we just show this really quick to just show his state of mind, okay? Here we go. Give me a second here. Getting a lot of notifications. I mean, a lot right now. All right. Here it is. Okay, so this is a video of Junior holding his baby, beautiful baby, playing the game, okay? And that's him right there, full of life. He playing the game, but you see where he got that baby at, right? Right in front of him. And that's a father. Now, I know I played the game when I had kids. And sometimes I would just sit them down off to the side somewhere and play my game. And maybe the value might be, I ain't going to say I did it, but maybe the value might have been too loud for me to even go in there and see what's going on with that baby. But Junior, as you can see, look at his face, y'all. Come on now. This is a happy father holding his child, even though he's playing the game. Okay? That's a happy father. There's no reason a happy father that's playing the game and holding his baby would want to leave that baby. Let's just be truthful. Okay? And I'm gonna pull back up that screen, but sorry about that, Dr. Gaddens. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
you're fine. I think that video, whenever you're trying to really objectively evaluate someone's potential mental state prior to an alleged suicide, there's certain information that you're supposed to gather. And part of it is their past medical history, but also it's reports from family, like we've already heard about just his demeanor, his character. But that video was less than 24 hours before he reportedly ended his life. And it just speaks volumes to me. It's kind of that a picture or video is worth 1,000 words. We can tell you all about him, but seeing that really struck me.
Yeah. And there's also a text message that I kind of wanted to show before we dive into that, if that's okay with you. And it's a message from his friend asking Junior about basically that, just exactly what happened. And so let me bring that up real quick, and then we can get right back to you if you don't mind. Give me 1 second. Okay. So here's a text message one of Junior's friends sent him. Is this the day of?
It's the day of at 10 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock in the morning. One of his friends asked him, has a girl ever made you want to blow your brains out? And Junior says, shit, a little bit, not gonna lie, but it don't be worth it, gang. You good? He asking his friend, is he good? I mean, come on. He said, yeah, she just talks so much, but don't listen. He said, I understand, gang. It'll get better once you consistently address the issues. This is Junior telling his friend that, okay? People, this is Junior telling his friend, I understand, gang. It'll get better once you consistently address the issues. He didn't say, yeah, me too, man. I'll be wanting to. No, he did not say that.
And look at what time he responded.
Look at what
I don't know
time
if it's on there, but it was, he responded at 3:30 to a message at 10:45, but the call to the police stating that he had ended his life was made at around 5:15.
Come on, y'all. I mean, so we not here making up stuff. I'm just showing you, and this is just a tip of the iceberg of facts that this family has gathered, okay? I just want y'all to know this is just the tip of the iceberg. So let me pull back up this pathological diagnosis real quick. Give me 1 second. And I do want to ask you a question, Brother Durr, before we go on. From your experience, what would you say to this right here that we just showed?
Well, I would say to this, due to my training, suicide prevention through NAMI, the National Office of Mental Illness, it's totally the opposite what someone do if they had suicidal thoughts. And just to give a quick rundown on some of the key factors of a person that will commit suicide, they will have to have a history of attempts of suicide, which is little Brian never had. Mood swings. So when we look through the text message, we don't see mood swings with his friend, somebody that he opened to, that he called gang, which is a term of endearment in an urban community. So most people that's suicidal, they're going to start apologizing. They're going to start giving their clothes away. They're going to start being withdrawn from their family and their friends and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure Lakeisha and Brian can see the change in their kid in severe mood swings, and there was no signs of that kind of behavior. So for him to up and kill himself and not to jump the gun too much, one of the text messages, one of the text messages said, you know, he never really thought about it like that, and it wasn't worth it. And Brian was allegedly, you know, want to go be with another woman. So if I was going to be with another woman, I wouldn't kill myself. I couldn't get to that woman and start my new relationship. He had something to look forward to. Absolutely. So that don't seem like a person that's suicidal to me. So it just kind of, you know, raise a little bit concerns about that.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Gettings, let's get back to this here. Sorry if I'm a little off today.
You're fine.
Yeah, actually we had an ice storm here Friday, and we had to park a block away from home.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was sliding home on my butt most of the way because it was a lot of cement we had to pass. I got to the last little thing and thought I was good and tried to step across it. Boom, busted my head.
No.
Boy, I was hoping somebody had it on Ring camera. I could have got a little money, but you know. Yeah, so let's get back to this pathological diagnosis. All right. So yeah. Number one, go ahead.
So what they're saying here is that the cause of death, when you have a forensic autopsy, the purpose of the forensic autopsy is to determine two things: cause and manner of death. A cause of death is what actually caused the death. So it's self-explanatory. So the doctor is listing on the document that the cause of death is a gunshot wound of the head. And then the doctor is going on to give additional details about that gunshot wound. And she is explaining that the entrance of the wound was above the right ear. The one piece about that stood out was on the police report. It states that he was witnessed self-inflicting a gunshot wound to his temple. Now, to the layperson, a temple and above the right ear may kind of sound like the same thing, but that is not the same thing when it comes to a physical exam. So it's actually a considerable, or arguably a considerable distance between a person's temple and the top of their right ear. It also states that there was no exit, meaning that the bullet didn't leave his brain. And that is not common when you look at statistics of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Oftentimes there is an exit wound. And his wound didn't exit because it actually happened to be very close to his spinal cord.
How would that happen? Like, you saying, okay, wait, so it's saying it was to his head, right? So it usually comes out the other side.
Right. So if you look at D, you see where it says D, trajectory.
Yeah.
The doctor is supposed to tell you what direction the bullet went in. So this doctor is saying the trajectory was left. I do notice that it doesn't say that it was up or down. So there isn't a specification here of the angle, even though it was left. Okay. There's not that detail. However, as a doctor, and I just want to preface this with, I am not a forensic pathologist, but I do know anatomy well, and I am a brain doctor. And I happen to have brought a brain model for all of those who are watching. So if you self-inflict a gunshot wound in the ear region, you would likely hit this area of the brain. If you look at the brain stem that I'm holding up, there are different structures there. And there's a area here known as the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is where the projectile was located.
Wow. So wait, you telling me it was a downward angle?
So it's plausible that it was a downward angle, but you have to consider that it hit bone. And so you have two different types of gunshot wounds when it comes to where they strike the body. You have flesh, you have bone. If you hit bone, you can really interfere with the trajectory. So you could argue that because it hit bone, the trajectory was changed. And even if a person didn't aim it at a downward angle, the projectile ended up headed in a downward angle. Okay. But based on what was detailed in the report, which, we're not going to share all of that, by calculation, if there was no influence by the bone itself, then this would have entered at a downward angle of about 28 degrees. So that is very uncommon for self-inflicted gunshot wounds. The common entry point for a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the brain is the temple, as it was reported, but not confirmed with the autopsy, right? So the police report shares information that's not consistent with the autopsy report, is what we're trying to really drive home. But if you speculate about the angle based on the downward location of the projectile here, where in the report it explains that it was above the ear, you're around here. So how do you end up down here? So that's the part that raises question. Yeah. And thankfully, the doctors who perform this have listened to our concerns. So that's one very major piece that I can say has been great and are investigating. So that would be the major piece of what we're looking at here. that the cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head, and the description is ABCD. It was entered above the right ear. There
Right.
was no exit. They were able to retrieve the projectile, and it was large, and a small fragment was recovered. And the trajectory is reported as left. And then part 2 says cardiomegaly mild.
Okay.
Cardiomegaly is sometimes an incidental finding that you can have on an autopsy or doing any type of anatomical evaluation of someone, where it's kind of just suggesting like a mild enlargement of the heart. But this doctor did document later that there's no like established medical history or heart disease or that sort of thing. And I see that there's a comment from Collier. So yes,
Yeah.
we asked the
Hey,
same.
Collier. Yeah, I was going
Oh,
to
go ahead.
yeah, I was going to read what she said because it's important that we point
Yeah.
that out. And that was one of the first questions, Gabe, that I had about this whole situation. And I want to send a quick prayer out to Gabe's family. Her 12-year-old grandson just this past weekend was shot 12 times walking from home to a high school basketball game, and he survived. And his daughter was actually just calling me on this. Her daughter was just calling me on this live, and so I'm speaking with her right after I hang up from here. But prayers out to you, Miss Collier, and your family, and thank you for still joining this live to hear about Junior. But yeah, that was one of the first questions. 14 years old, not 12 years old, 14 years old.
I'm very sorry for your loss. So as far as your question,
he didn't pass. He's still alive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
But for having to go through that, and thankfully that it's not a loss. And so your question, as far as gunshot residue on his hands and at the entrance of the wound, is one of the additional major evidentiary concerns that we have, because there was no gunshot residue kit performed, either at the scene or at the medical examiner's office.
So what about when the ambulance showed up? Or
can I say one more thing?
Yes,
just
ma'am.
Because she brought up his hand.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the difference between what you might see with a flesh wound and bone.
Right.
With bone, you get what we call backspatter. So the wound was contact. Contact does not confirm self-infliction. Contact just means what it says. It was a contact shot, right? And so with that on bone, you get what we call backspatter, which is this, ammunition, this projectile, is penetrating this bone. It creates this pressure and kind of physical reaction, if you will, where there's a lot of body material, potentially brain matter, that would come back out of the entry wound, thereby landing on the hand of the individual that self-inflicted, as the report says. Well, there's nothing on Ryan's hands in his autopsy. The clinician documented basically that his hands were immaculate and well manicured.
Wow. And so, man, the entire investigation, in my opinion, and like I said, we have so much evidence, we can't get into it because we want a lawyer to have some bullets to put, so we want him to have some firepower when he goes to court. But the evidence that we have looked at shows a lot of misappropriation of the situation, from, like she said, the residue on his hands, it was never tested, right? From what we've seen, that the ambulance was called off. And so with Dr. Getty,
I think you were bringing that up. You just brought up the paramedic. So I don't think.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because if the initial investigation and the initial crime scene area was not taken care of, how can a doctor do their job if the initial job was not done correctly?
You can. So when you have someone who loses their life in this way, it's referred to as a medical legal evaluation. It's literally where medicine meets the law.
Okay.
And so we are working together, hopefully, to identify the cause and manner of death. A doctor's job is to diagnose. And so if it's a pathologist that you unfortunately came to see that day, right, then your diagnosis that you're coming to get is what caused you to pass away. And so it's super important to have all the medical information to draw a conclusion, because manner of death and cause are different. Manner means, okay, we know he passed from a projectile to the brain, or what we call a traumatic brain injury, but what was the manner? How did that happen? And so the manner is a different conclusion that is reached through the joint responsible execution of an investigation, meaning you have all the evidence from a well-trained investigative team delivering it to the doctor. If I see someone for medical care, I need their medical history. If you show up to my office, I need to know, did you see a doctor before? Have you taken medication before? What are your symptoms? It's very similar, but this doctor's specialty is to diagnose cause of death. So it is standard protocol, from my understanding, that you would allow this doctor to have a medical report from a paramedic. And the paramedics were asked for when this was called in. They were asked for, but the police canceled them. They were asked for when it was called in, and the 911 dispatch ordered them to come, and the police officer canceled it.
And I found that part in the report where you were talking about the upper and lower extremities, well developed, blah, blah, blah. Fingernails and toenails are adequately groomed. It didn't say blood splatter on his hands from shooting his son.
I mean, and not even a drop.
Not even a drop.
Not even a drop. Not even any visible gunpowder, nothing. It says his hands were adequately groomed. And then the doctor goes on to describe other specifics. So we can't say like, oh, well, this isn't a detailed, clinician. They are taking the time to identify other individual markings, the pierced earlobe on the left, a monochromatic tattoo on the anterior right forearm. So it just doesn't give rushed to me, but it gives detailed, and it gives it. I mean, not only is there no blood, they're saying he even cared about the grooming of his fingernails and his toenails. So if I'm not a ballistics expert, and I just want to lead with that, and I'm not a forensic pathologist, but I have concern when you allege that someone self-inflicted a contact wound and they have nothing on their hands by report of your medical examiner, whose job is to make a diagnosis. And so that is very incongruent with what we would typically see with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and what a person's hand would look like if that wound was contact, as it was documented. These are all the reasons why we have a lot of concerns. And Derek, do you want to speak to what was documented about the gun?
Yeah. Well, first I want to go like far as a little bit into the ballistics and the conflicting police
No
report.
ballistic testing was ordered, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no ballistic testing was ordered at all. And I want to, point out the conflicting statements in the police report. So, in the police report, it says Dyersville police alleged that he shot the firearm twice, and then after the investigation was,
The attorney from
the
you're talking
county
about the
attorney,
attorney.
then he says that the gun was fired 3 times. So if you look at the gun that was fired, the gun was a 9mm Glock 26. And everybody knows that's into firearms. A Glock is one of the most reliable guns on the planet. And the likelihood of a Glock jam is 0.00%. Depends how much is fired in the ammunition. And also, when it comes to suicide, and also the report says that little Brian grabbed it was impulsive suicide. He grabbed the gun impulsively. So you look at suicide, if a gun misfired 3 times, after the first misfire, it been an impulsive thought, you would think about it just for a second. So also, if you commit suicide and a Glock misfire, which is rarely never, so and you will have to reload the gun 3 times. So if you attempt to shoot yourself in the head and a gun jams, you will have to re-rack the slide, which causes the live round to fall. And you know what I'm saying? And if you do another attempt to shoot yourself in the head and it jams again, another live round will fall. Then if you proceed and successful with suicide, it should be a shell case on the floor. So now, being a Glock 26, it shouldn't jam those many times, unless it just happens like that at 0.001%. And that raised a lot of concerns where there was 3 misfires, one shot fired in a wall. That shell casing was covered, but we need 2 live rounds, and we need another shell casing from the actual gunshot wound was never recovered on the scene. And that's highly concerning when it comes to suicide. I never seen nothing like that a day in my life. That raised a lot of concerns with everyone that says that how a Glock misfired 3 times, then it fires, but there's only one shell casing that was found, and that was the shell casing that the bullet was shot inside of a wall. Nothing else was recovered from the scene. So I find it very, very concerning in this case. That raised a lot of concerns.
Yeah, that's a lot of concerns. I do want to, if we can, Wade, he said the absent and gaps in gathering evidence is evidence they know who and how he was killed.
Yes, and not to cut you off, and another thing in the report says the gun was found under the victim, but it never was a photograph of the gun under the victim. So, and to my knowledge, that would be a form of evidence tampering. It's supposed to be a thorough investigation, and you don't have a photo of the weapon that was used in a suicide. No picture. And in the report, it says there was no live round found chambered in its 9mm. And to my knowledge, once a gun go off in a 33 clip magazine, once the bullet leaves the chamber, it automatically re-racks itself. It's a semi-automatic weapon. So to find a bullet not chambered in the gun after you just shot it is highly unlikely, unless the bullet's made of water and it evaporated someplace. So that's very concerning to me.
Wow. I do want to share something real quick, Dr. Gettings. There was a picture I was sent of a mattress, and I do want to just share that real quick, and then just have you and Brian, and Derek, tell me. Okay, so this is the mattress that was in the house that has his blood on it, but according to what we've seen from the videos, he was found in the living room on the floor next to a chair. How would blood get into the bedroom on the mattress if he was found in the chair? I'm just
Yeah. So this one was really um, concerning for us because the photos that were taken that day by the police that were shared with us showed this mattress with sheets on it, and there was blood on the sheet. What it looks like to me on the police photos is that it's possible the blood was coming from underneath. So when you look at the mattress uncovered, it looks like blood was soaked in. And we raised that concern and were told that the blood was transfer from the scene. Yeah, we were not this image. So
yeah,
the image that they took, which had a sheet over it, there was a minimal amount of blood that they said was transfer. But this mattress was left at the scene by the police in the bedroom. And when we looked at the police report that the Dyersville police shared with us, there's 2 officers at the scene in the report. One officer documented that Brian was witnessed self-inflicting a gunshot wound to the head in his bedroom. And another officer documented that Brian Jr. self-inflicted a gunshot wound to his head in the living room. So he was found in the living room. This mattress was left in his bedroom, not collected, not tested, along with no gunshot residue kit, live round missing, shell casing missing, bullet hole in the ceiling, 2 shots to 3 shots, and a lot more, as you said. But this was super, super concerning, and we've asked for it to be formally collected by the Iowa Department of Criminal Investigations Crime Lab for this to be tested for Brian's blood. Because if this is in fact his blood, then it would raise a lot of questions about the discrepancy that's already in the police report about where he was witnessed self-inflicting a gunshot wound in his home. So, yeah.
Man, look, the people is weighing in. I really don't even have to say too much because if you look at these comments, like she said, the whole crime scene was contaminated. Heads need to roll after this. How is this possible? So many major inconsistencies. The crime scene is being blurred into a narrative by the killers themselves. Wow, no way, no way. Wow. And Gay said the facts, no way. Facts just don't add up. We need to check the 2 officers to see if they are corrupt or did this to him. Listen to so the whole thing is this: with the investigation being closed as Brian taking his own life, right? This is what we want a lawyer for, because this needs to be reopened, reevaluated, and looked at from the evidence that y'all have collected through your own private detective, through your own work that y'all have done on your own as a family, and reaching out to all the people that y'all have reached out to in Iowa. I mean, it's an abundance of people, y'all. I mean, when I tell you this family crossed every T and dotted every I, that's why I said at the beginning, this will be a family you don't want to do nothing against, because they're going to dig and dig and find you. Okay. There's no way that this case should be closed in the manner that it has been. It needs to be reopened, reinvestigated, and the facts need to be finally combed through.
I would
Michelle,
say it needs to be reopened and investigated.
and investigated
because it wasn't investigated.
It was never
And
investigated, right?
no, and every concern that we raised, which is why we wanted to share it with all of our family and loved ones and those who share public interest, is this could happen to anybody.
Right.
Imagine reportedly having a dispute. Domestic violence is so lethal potentially, and I don't want to allege or accuse anything, so I want to make that clear. But what the police reported was that this was in the midst of a domestic dispute. And if you do not evaluate someone losing their life in the midst of a domestic dispute or investigate it, that's a problem. And what we showed is not something that should cause, in my opinion, a lot of convincing. We literally asked for this to be tested and for them to just subpoena phone records. I mean, nobody asked for a repeat autopsy or exhume. It's simple. This is simple stuff that police do all the time. So I don't know what to attribute it to other than to the lack of training. I know that there may be some, concerns for corruption, but I do want to say that there's a major concern for just negligence due to lack of appropriate training. And believe it or not, Brian is not the only adult male who's lost his life in this way in this city. There's another case that's online that has gone cold for years, where a man was, in that case, confirmed, suffered a gunshot wound. They never said it was self-inflicted. They never found who did it. Okay. And so it was the same, very similar, like a man shot in the head in the bed. And in that case, it's a cold case. They never solved it. But if you look at it online, the scene was contaminated. Like the department didn't know how to preserve, it seems, from what I read, all of the evidence in a way that would have allowed a death investigation in that case not to be compromised. And here we are again with, we asked them, can you guys just offer us an explanation as to why 2 officers on the scene would have reported 2 different locations for a self-inflicted gunshot wound? And they said, oh yeah, there's an explanation. The officer writing up the report probably got distracted and wrote the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows the level of incompetence on the police department and lack the resources of training. Like the training is trash. I can't see how competent cops can really drop the ball like this on the investigation. To me, it was handled so carelessly. And I'm not going to say what one of the cops said on the body cam. We're going to say that for the lawyer. But the language they was using to be in a sensitive matter was really diabolical, in my opinion.
Right. Are you muted, Sherman?
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. What's crazy is we're right next door to each other, right? In Nebraska, Iowa. Well, not y'all, but this case. And it's a clear pattern of the way that we as Black people, when crimes happen for us, the investigation, to me, it seems anyway, is always, it's never fully done. Miss April Ford, who commented, wow, right here. Recently, her son was involved in, he was executed by the Omaha Police Department in a no-knock search warrant. And they basically justified killing him based off his past. And when we finally got to see the tape and get his autopsy, again, Dr. Gettings, autopsies, right? It showed that he was shot. They said he initially charged as the officer and was shot in the chest. Well, we got the report. He was actually shot right here under his arm, and it came out his back. So the trajectory of the bullet was not a straight, like he's running towards them. It was from the side angle through his back, and that officer was fired but not charged, right? And they're not willing to charge him with the murder of Miss Ford's son. However, she does have a good lawyer, Mr. Crump, and they're furthering the investigation. But again, we got to go the extra mile when it comes to us, when we want to solve crimes that happen to us. And like she said, it just shows a lack of care and respect for us, because we've always been treated as what? Property. That's just what it was, just another one of us. And so Citron Shaw, it's not the police officer, it's the entire system protecting them and refusing to open the case. Absolutely correct. And so I want to make sure, said, if this was a young white man, would there be such a lack of investigation? I don't think so, Brother Herbert. I don't think so.
Can I add one more thing just in terms of the compromise of the scene? So what I learned, and this is something that was new to me, and I said it earlier, that this death is classified as a death of public interest because of how it happened, and it requires a forensic eval. So I just want to ask our audience, if the law says that if someone calls the police in the midst of a domestic dispute and reports that that person then ended their life, their significant other, and the law says you can't take one witness, any number of witnesses, okay, to confirm this, you have to send Brian Jr. 3 hours away the next day to have a forensic eval. If the law says we can't believe what's reported in this type of death, should you or would you expect the police department's death investigation policy to ensure that the home was secured until you at least got confirmation from the evaluation, the autopsy, that this was in fact a suicide? If the law says you have to do that, this situation really became nauseating when I learned that the police didn't secure the home. Individuals slept in the home that night before he even left Dyersville to head to Ankeny, Iowa. And there's video footage of evidence being purposefully discarded.
Come on now.
On the police cam that they gave us. And so at the scene, at the time of the investigation, so you have an investigation where we see evidence appearing to be discarded. Right. I don't want to say confirmed because I don't know, but there's an appearance of a purposeful discarding of evidence at the scene when the police are there. And then you have a law that says you can't take any witness's word for this type of death. You have to prove it, but you don't secure the house. There's no tape. There's nothing. I mean, if you listed the laundry list of things that we observed as really, really problematic, we would be here all night. Mm-hmm. But we have tried to bring to you all and anyone in the community who can really help with investigating this, because it wasn't investigated. And we were told that there was no concern for foul play. How do you tell that to a family when you also hand them police footage with evidence of what we've shared tonight, that there's no evidence? You're not supposed to allow evidence to be removed from a scene. Brian's cell phone was removed from his deceased body with permission of the Dyersville police. He had a surveillance camera that pointed outside. It was reported to us they didn't collect that or review it because what happened inside. Why do we need to look outside?
Yeah.
And on top of what my cousin said, being a seasoned investigator, if you are a police officer, there wasn't no officer surveillance in the neighborhood asking witness, did you hear something? Did you see something? Did you go to your next door neighbor? Did you see anything? So it was just to them, to my knowledge, it was a black body, and it was a open and shut case. But
Happened at 5:15 and it was shut by 11, I think, something along there. You would have drove past and not known anything had happened. Something like that. Yeah. So I want to say this because I do see the question you posted before you go into questions. Dyersville, Iowa is a very small town that is known for a movie known as Field of Dreams. It's kind of an iconic tourist spot. They don't see a lot of crime based on their documentation. They don't, when I say crime, excuse me, let me take that back. They don't report that they have very many homicides, suicides, or anything of the like. And almost a little over 10 years ago, the mayor of Dyersville ordered an independent evaluation of the Dyersville Police Department because there were concerns about them not having even a fully developed or electronic standard operating procedures manual. And so this is all public information. Anybody here can look it up. It was done by the order of the mayor of the city at that time, Mayor Heavens, and it found some really, really major concerns. Mayor Heavens resigned after the review, sued the city, and someone took his place. And from what we've reviewed, while it does appear that they created a standard operating manual, it did not include a host of standard investigative policies, procedures that they should be following in these situations. When you look at everything here, it really screams a lot of lack of education. And so I get the potential racial piece and all of that, but I also want to say that there's a lot of evidence that we have that they really are not properly trained. And the captain of the police department, now captain, but at the time of little Brian's death, the captain was the assistant chief of police. They resigned a week after holding that position for almost 3 years. They resigned, and their letter of resignation essentially confirmed that they routinely hire untrained police officers. I'm not well versed in the law in terms of what are the requirements or standards of police training, but it seems like in this city, they're able to employ and have police officers responsible for really, really delicate, severe situations that they may not be adequately trained to evaluate. You're
We're
muted.
looking at a lack of investigation, a lack of training, a lack of care, which already warrants this to be investigated. Like she said, not reinvestigated, but actually investigated because it never was. Okay. And I want to bring back on the parents before we close out, just to give everybody their final words on this. And like I said, there's so much evidence. Like Miss Pate said, reading the document blew my mind. Completely unprofessional and disheartening that they felt that no structure was needed. No structure. And Kai said a lack of the truth. Man.
I want to add one thing because I want to be really, really mindful of the words that I use and what's proven and what we suspect or have concern about. So I want to say we don't know that that's blood on the mattress. That's our assumption. We would like it to be tested. And I also want to say that we aren't, it hasn't been confirmed that evidence was discarded. That's what it appeared to be. Multiple people who looked at the footage. So I just want to make sure that I make that clear and be very mindful of non-accusatory language and coming to any conclusions that we haven't come to.
Right. Brother Brian, I want to give you a chance to say any final words before we close this live out.
I just want to reiterate, we coming from an angle of peace, and we're just looking to find the truth. You know, I have no malice in my heart, no hatred from anyone. We just want to give them a fair investigation. The same investigation you would give to a dog. That's all we asking for.
Right. He deserves a fair investigation. Lakeisha?
Yeah, basically the same. You know, I just want my son's truth to be out here, not putting it out that he didn't love life when he loved life and everybody in it. And that's that.
Yeah. Brother Derek?
I just want to say that it's unfortunate my cousin Brian going through this, but I think this would help so many people that has been wronged and a victim of alleged gross negligence of people that is sworn to protect us and fight for us.
Man.
So, you know, and I pray that everyone has pray that everyone get through this trying time in this unfortunate situation, especially my family.
Yeah. Ready?
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Sorry about that. I just want to thank everyone that took the time to listen. Lakeisha's a mother of 6. I'm a mother of 4. I also work with children and adolescents every day. I'm a Black woman from the South Side of Chicago before anything else. And this is just wrong. This is my opinion. This is wrong. And I shudder to think of anyone losing their life in the midst of a domestic dispute. And this is what happens in terms of anyone even showing the level of concern and training that would be needed to adequately investigate. So I just hope that this helps a lot of people. And I hope that the education around it inspires anyone else that has been wronged by the legal system and encourage them to find whatever you can and advocate for your loved ones.
Right. And I just want to, again, I know I've said it a few times, but I have to give this family a special shout out because the work y'all have done. This is only the tip, what y'all see today, people. This is the tip of the evidence that they have gathered. And I want it to be an example. Like I told them when I first started working with them and they were sending me emails, I'm reading. I've never seen a family have this much evidence in their own case on their own ever. And when I agreed to have them on the show, it was because of that. The intelligence, the know-all, the do-all, the refusing to not explore the facts, and like she said, at least get a real investigation. Okay. And I want to just say to y'all, man, for one, I'm proud of y'all. I hope that people that's watching take note from the amount of courage it took for not only for y'all to show y'all faces and come on here, but to pull all the evidence y'all have pulled out of this investigation is just amazing to me. And I love y'all like we family. And I really, really, really hope that we have a lawyer or someone watching that can give Brian Jr. the justice he deserves. And like Senior said, all I want is justice for my son and somebody to actually look at this case. And like she said, at least a real investigation. Okay. She said, I have so many questions now. Yeah.
Are there any call to action? Someone said, I think it was Unique. What are our call to actions at this? I know we definitely would want any legal. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, what can we do to help the family? That's what she said. And so family, what would you like as far as help with your case? Any one of y'all can
well, I'll say what I would like. I would like for anyone watching who agrees that this should be reopened to please advocate for that through letters to not only the Dyersville Police Department, but also to the Iowa Governor, Kim Reynolds, and the NAACP. I believe she's the president. I'm not sure her title, but Betty Andrews. We really need legal representation. We need subpoenas. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Any other family member want to weigh in? What do you think would be something you guys need as far as support from the community? Brian or Lakeisha?
Agree.
There we go. Go ahead, Lakeisha.
I'm sorry. I said I was going to say what Natasha said, and I definitely agree. Everybody watching, just start writing to these people because my son deserves to just actually be at rest. Like, you can't rest knowing that you was lied on, and all this stuff. It's just like, it's not true. You've been accused of being a murderer yourself, because if you take your own life, you're still a murderer. And that was not my son. My son didn't even hit women. So, and he was just too loving. He liked the stray animals, like, take them in. And right now I got 3 dogs because of my kids pulling in animals that I didn't want. So that's how loving my kids is. They take on things that they have no business, And I just want to tell the rest of my kids, I love y'all for staying strong through this, because, and Brielle, you too, baby, because y'all had a great brother.
Yeah. Miss Pate said, is there any way y'all can pin the address or names to where we should send the letters? So I'll get that information from the family and I will attach it to this live and pin it in the comments. So that way, if y'all all want to send letters, like Dr. Gadding said, let's do that together as a unit. I do really, really, really appreciate the audience, man. Y'all done showed so much love. I know it's over 100 comments. I really appreciate y'all supporting this family, loving on this family. She said, we love y'all more, so strong, praying for strength, hearts. I mean, it's all kind of comments. And I just really, again, want to say that how much I appreciate y'all coming forward and doing what you're doing. Anything that you think, Dad, that can help the family as far as support?
Like I said, just writing in, just continue to keep, be vigilant and keep this in front of people's faces until we, get it resolved. Yeah, I want to say I see you. That's my friend, Busy. I see you in NAACP.
Can I say one more thing that I feel should be touched on that Lakeisha just said? When you have a person who loses their life, their story needs to be their truth. It affects their family for generations. And as a child psychiatrist and an advocate for the youth, one of the cruelest things you can do is lie to a kid or tell a kid that they lost their parent in a way that they didn't. And I think for that reason, more than anything, for his son, who he loves so much, it's important that his story be told in truth to his child. That will impact how he grows up, how he sees himself, all of that. So, yeah. Sherman, you're muted.
Sorry.
Okay.
Being the king of mute. I said Kai did post the address here for the Dyersville police and stuff there. And we do want to make sure that we receive all the help. Like Brian's friend said, he want to contact the NAACP. Time for the Urban League NAACP to stand up here and in every urban city in America. That's correct. As a family, we just instantly started to mourn and had no idea the full detail, but it just seemed unlikely that he did it to himself. And then Brother Shabazz said, Department of Justice, Attorney General, and Attorney Affairs. Yeah, we need all that. And so we're going to definitely move forward with doing just that. Bring more attention to Brian's untimely passing. We're going to bring more attention to the details. And like Dr. Getty said, get a real investigation into this case. And hopefully with everybody's help, more people in the public knowing about it. And like she said, she didn't know. The young lady said they just started mourning right away, but they didn't know the details. So now that we've put out just a tip, again, just a tip of the details, y'all know just from this hour and 39 minutes of small details, there's so much more that this needs to be investigated for sure. I do want to end this with a video that Brian Senior sent me of Junior, and I'm going to share that now here. Give me a second. Oh man. Yeah, it's just it's definitely tough. I think seeing all the evidence that I've seen, and then talking to the family and how they've done everything in their power to get this evidence brought forward, it deserves investigation. Let me see here. Here we go. Oh, nope. I just shared the same screen of the same screen. Here we go. See how I made that effect? Let's see. There we go. Screen 2. There it is. This is him telling those jokes. And so I'm going to end it with this. Tall Twin Silence said she's sorry for your loss. And Angela Spencer, Brian Jr., truth must be told. The truth must be told. Okay, give me just a moment here.
If I do something, talk about my mama, so I got something for them. It's called Yo Mama Jokes. First one I made up. The mom's so fat and she said, I'm fat up, she made 6 down. Number 2. The mom's so fat that when she runs outside, they say, where you at? Number 3. Your daddy is so black he used his finger as a black dry erase marker. Your daddy is so old that mama. These are also your daddy juice. Your daddy is so old that when he gets in a tub, he dissolves. Your mama is so old, on her class picture, she's right next to Jesus. Number 5. Your daddy is so old, on his birth certificate, it says, to infinity and beyond. Number 6. Your mother is so fat, she broke the stairway to heaven. Your mother so short, she hangs glass on a Dorito. Number 9. Your mother is so fat. Okay. When she washes up, she loses the soap in her rolls. Number 10. This is going to be the ultimate. Your dad. Dang, I just forgot this. Don't act like you. I don't know something. Yo. Oh, I got it. Your mama has so nappy, they turn her upside down and use her as a mop. Hey, my name is Brian Spencer, and if you want to subscribe today.